Hey, what's up everyone? It's Giorgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and I am back with another wrestling pay-per-view review just for you guys. And actually, man, it seems like I just did one of these. What was it, like, 2 weeks ago or something, that we had like a WWE pay-per-view or something? I'm not sure, but man, it definitely feels like it hasn't been long. But I don't know if I'm going to count this as one of the episodes of Beyond Wrestling, but I do want this to be, a pay-per-view, review under the Beyond Wrestling banner, as you saw with that intro. And thank you all for tuning in whenever you may see this. I was going to include this in my SummerSlam, review, but I decided to after watching this pay-per-view, it deserves to be in its own video. And man, I'm telling you guys, NXT Takeover, in my opinion, it was our SummerSlam. Even though they only had 4 or 5 matches, this show definitely delivered. And with the tradition of this channel, we're gonna talk about that pay-per-view main event right now. That's gonna be the first topic of discussion. And I had some really cool screenshots for you guys, but for some reason the doggone screenshots don't want to load, the way that I wanted them to look. So I wouldn't even, screenshots don't do it justice for this kind of match, to be honest with you. This is a match I would definitely recommend that you guys go back and watch on the WWE Network. If you have to get that free trial, then please get that and watch this matchup. Make sure you have some a full night of rest before you watch it, because it was quite long. I would definitely say that. It was a 2 out of 3 falls matchup, which is Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano. And you'll see them at the top of the thing for those of you who watch, NXT or WWE, and I'm telling you, this was such a crazy match. Now, the first fall match, or what you want to call it, it was just a normal wrestling match. Gargano, he worked Adam Cole's knee, and Adam Cole hit this cool wheelbarrow suplex on Johnny Gargano under that ring apron, which was a really crazy spot. And then one of the most funniest moments of this matchup was how Adam Cole got the first fall, which basically he distracted the ref with a chair, but then he blows Johnny Gargano, which we thought that was going to give Adam Cole the win, but it didn't, because after that, Gargano, he got the chair and he hit Adam Cole with it in the back, which gave, Adam Cole the win by DQ. And of course, that's what Johnny Gargano wanted, because after that, he proceeded to beat the hell out of Adam Cole with the steel chair, and which led us into the second fall of the match, which was a street fight match. This was the second part of the match. You might as well say this was like 3 wrestling matches in one. And they fought in the crowd. Johnny Gargano, he had a crazy frog splash on Adam Cole through the barricade, which was sick. And then Adam Cole, they was fighting each other for a bit on the announcer's table. Adam Cole, he then tried to go for a pedigree, but then Johnny Gargano counters by throwing him back first with a back body drop through the announcer table, which was a super crazy, reaction from the fans, including myself. These two were just tearing it up in this match. And then, of course, another crazy spot where that got Gargano his first pinfall, or his first win in this 2 out of 3 falls match, was when Johnny Gargano, he long darts Adam Cole into the chair in the corner, and then he goes for the Gargano lock, which will of course give Johnny Gargano that win in that, so now they're even up 1-1. And then this is where the match gets really, really sick and crazy. It gives you that ECW type of vibe. And that was the steel cage. That was the third stipulation, which was chosen by William Regal. And man, you guys, wow, this match was, if you thought that the match was getting crazy in that street fight, that was nothing compared to this. The cage had barbed wire around it, and so as that the third fall, which is the steel cage match, you know, as they proceeded to fight each other, and they was beating the hell out of each other with kendo sticks, and then they ended up super kicking each other. Adam Cole, he went for the knee strike, but he had ended up hitting one of those chairs, and then Gargano went for an STF like the one that John Cena uses, but he used the kendo stick. But of course, surprisingly, that didn't put away Adam Cole. And then Johnny Gargano sets up two tables in the ladder right next to each other, which this will be how this will go into the finish of this matchup, which will leave everybody stunned and awed in amazement and a shock as to how extreme and how far these guys will go to win that World Heavyweight Championship. And of course, from there, Johnny Gargano, he went for Adam Cole's signature move, which was the Panama Sunrise, but Adam Cole kicked out. And, you know, that's one thing I would say, if there was one criticism, I don't like the fact that, you know, wrestlers are always kicking out of people's finishers like multiple times in the matchup. I think that kind of you know, weakens the strength of a move. You know, it kind of takes away from a wrestler's finishing move. You know, if you're gonna kick out, I think if you're going to kick out of a wrestler's finisher in a matchup, it should be one time only. Like, I think both people should have that one chance where they kick out of that finisher. You know, like, let's say they hit the finisher at the beginning of the match, you could kick out of it there, but then, or if you like in the middle of the match and then they all of a sudden hit the finisher, you know, maybe. But, you know, that's one thing I don't like. And, you know, these guys, they did some really good stuff, but, you know, that's one of the things I don't like, is when wrestlers are always kicking out of finishers. You know, that's something that needs to be kind of slowed down a bit in some of these matchups, you know, just to add a little bit more realism to the story. But, you know, I mean, some people like the multiple kickouts, and sometimes it's okay depending on, you know, what kind of matchup it is. But anyways, then after that, of course, Johnny Gargano, he gets some wire cutters and he uses them to cut some barbed wire to use on Adam Cole, which of course he didn't end up getting the chance to use the barbed wire on Adam Cole, because they ended up fighting on top of the steel cage, and they had like a table on top of the steel cage, which was sick. And so these two were fighting on top of the the steel cage, and then next thing you know, they both threw each other off the top of the cage through those double tables that were in the ring. So, and of course, the momentum allowed Adam Cole to put his arm over, you know, Johnny Gargano's chest to get the 1, 2, 3. So that was a really clever way of getting, you know, Adam Cole the win without making Johnny Gargano look weak. So yes, even though Johnny Gargano lost the match, he didn't look weak in the process. It was pretty much by luck and momentum that Adam Cole won this matchup. And I think that tells a really good story. And I think this is the end of the story between these two. It's time for, you know, Adam Cole to go on to face some, you know, some new people on the NXT roster. I don't know who he could face next. That's a good question right there that I think we may find the answer out for soon. As for Johnny Gargano, this man has pretty much done everything in NXT at this point, and I think that he should pretty much go on to the main roster. Because he's pretty much done everything. I mean, there's nothing left to prove in NXT, and I think if he goes on the main roster, I don't know when they could do it. Maybe at the Royal Rumble they can have him debut that way. But anyways, now you see why I talked about the main event first, because it was quite a long match and it deserved the most time. And of course, we're gonna go all the way back up to the beginning of the show, where they had this cool intro music that was playing at the beginning when the show started. Now, what would have added to this was pyro. I feel like this was the kind of this was the takeover that should have had pyro. You know, I don't know why they insist on not having pyro at these really big events, because these are the events that are going to make them the most money, and I think they should have had that. It would have added something more, special in terms of excitement. But of course, the first match was the Street Profits versus Undisputed Era, which was Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, which was a really good tag team matchup. The Street Profits got the win. Montez Ford, we've seen these guys on Raw lately. They've been cutting these annoying promos. I mean, I don't know why they booked them that way on Monday Night Raw, to be annoying, and these guys are not meant to be that way. I think they're booking them on purpose to act like that. I do love the energy that a guy like Montez Ford has in that Street Profits group, but we'll see what happens with them. But they had this cool tag team move where Kyle O'Reilly hits a gut buster into a back suplex, Bobby Fish that did on one of those Street Profit members, and then the fans chant "This is awesome," which that's another thing right there. Is I don't know. I think this is something that's very annoying to me, and now we hear that chant often in the WWE matches. The fans would chant just "This is awesome" at everything. They could do some simple little move that doesn't even deserve that chant, and people would chant "This is awesome." I think they need to stop that, man, because it kind of takes away from the moments that actually deserve that chant. That's one thing I don't like about how some wrestling crowds, it's like they've been conditioned to say that. If all wrestlers do is look at somebody and they say "This is awesome," so it's retarded. I don't like that. But the match was pretty decent. The Street Profits got the win, which I was kind of surprised that Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly didn't get the win, but obviously they're making a lot of money with the Street Profits, so I don't see them losing the belt anytime soon, just like the New Day ain't losing those tag titles anytime soon. But then, of course, they had match 2, which is Io Shirai. She won with a submission. She had faced Candice LeRae. We saw a lot of heart from Candice LeRae, and we also saw just how brutal Io Shirai was. I love the new look and attitude of her, and I think we have something special with her as a heel, And if they can book her right, she will be a really good, threat or dominant force in NXT and in WWE. And she did this really cool Tiger Driver backbreaker move, which was really nice, and she won with a leg lock submission hold, which I really like that. See, that move looks very legit, and you can do it on anybody, and it looks strong. It doesn't look weak when she applies that move. So we're gonna see a lot of good things from her. As far as Candice LeRae, I mean, who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens. She still has to find her way as a talent, but she definitely has shown some improvement though. And then, of course, after that, we had this segment with Matt Riddle, Mr. Bro, because he loves to use bro. He uses the word bro more than Zack Ryder. And he cuts the skating promo on Killian Dean, who was a part of that group, the Sanity, which I hate they didn't do anything with Sanity. Sanity could have been one of the very popular factions in WWE. They dropped the ball with them. But of course, Killian Dean is on his own, and he started this feud with Matt Riddle. I guess he attacked Matt Riddle on one of the NXT episodes. So these two are gonna have a match at some point, and I think it should be a no DQ matchup. That's the only way you're gonna get a good ending from these guys. And then of course they had this crazy brawl where Matt Riddle beat up all the security guards, and then I think Killian Dean caught Matt Riddle in the hole, and they slammed each other through a table. So that was a really good segment. And then we had match number 3, which besides the main event, I would say that this was the second best matchup on the card, which is the North American Championship matchup, which is Velveteen Dream, who's the champion, versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. I love this matchup. This is one you definitely want to watch too. This one in that main event. And Roger Strong, he hit this double Boston Crab move, which on Pete Dunne and Velveteen Dream. It was such a really cool, nice looking move right there. I really liked how he applied that one. That was pretty nice. And then Roger Strong, he hits his backbreaker finisher on Pete Dunne, but then Velveteen Dream comes out of nowhere with a Rainmaker elbow drop to both of the guys to get the win. So yeah, that was pretty neat. I like that finish. That was a really good finish right there. Roger Strong came this close to being the NXT North American champion, and hopefully he'll get that belt soon. But Velveteen Dream is definitely something special right now. This guy has everything. I love his spot in that WWE 2K20 commercial. He really sold the whole trailer for me. And so I'm very high on Velveteen Dream right now. So him keeping the belt at this pay-per-view was the right choice. And then we got the last matchup that I'm gonna review on this doggone pay-per-view so I can get some rest, and that's Mia Yim versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. And man, Mia Yim, she really did an awesome job in this matchup. She really put a lot of damage to Shayna Baszler's arm, and I think this was the most vulnerable that we've seen Shayna Baszler in a matchup besides the match she had with Io Shirai at the last takeover. So I really like that. Shayna Baszler, in my opinion, is one of the best female heels in the WWE right now, man. She really has everything that you could want in a heel in that company. And it was just a really smash mouth matchup. And like I said, Mia, she was on the offensive side most of the time. She got most of the offense, but somehow Shayna Baszler was able to reverse Mia's arm lock into a rear naked choke, which then she switched it and used her legs to make Mia tap out. So Shayna Baszler retains the NXT Women's World title. So, and with that being said, that is pretty much the end of this review right there. I didn't want to keep you guys that long, but because of that main event, that one was long, so you want to cover the really good parts without, talking about every single move. But definitely go back and watch the main event and watch that North American title match. You will not be disappointed. But I can't wait to hear what you guys think, and I hope you all have a blessed one, and I will see you in the SummerSlam review. Oh man, that's gonna be 4 hours, so I'm gonna try to make that review as short as possible, but it's hard to do that. Anyways, you all be safe, and I will see you next time.